Okay guys, got the video running. Hopefully it'll give you a bit of an idea of the road that I've got to ride home from fishing down at Seacombe. We'll see what happens along the way. It's quite a ride home, and there can be a lot of wildlife on the side of the road, so I need to keep my eyes open as I drive, but shouldn't be too bad. Coming out, I meant to put the video on a bit earlier. Coming out of from the river up to this road, I nearly got hit by two kangaroos coming across the road. They're only about 2 or 3 feet in front of the car, which is a little bit scary, but anyway, I didn't hit them, they didn't hit me, no damage. Shows you need to be on your toes though. But it's 6:42 p.m. and this time of night along here is usually when they start moving around. Kangaroos and wallabies are a bit smarter than us. They rest up during the heat of the day and they move around in night time when it's cooler. Conserves their energy and water, but that's when they go looking to browse the grass on the side of the road, or they tend to come out on the left hand side is all scrubland forest, and the right hand side, although there's trees there, behind those trees is open paddocks, and they go across the road to get into there to feed on the grass and any hay that's been put out by the farmer for his stock, and then they cross back over to the other side when they're full. But it makes it for an interesting drive anyway. Road I'm on, going back the opposite way to what I'm going, leads to a little seaside, oh it's not really seaside, but on the lakes, a little township called Loch Sport. It's got the boat harbour, and it's pretty much a holiday sort of town. This is the only road in and out, and summertime or even long weekends it just gets packed out with people. I just passed a little wallaby on the side of the road then. I had been a bit more alert, you might have seen it. I'll blow that up a bit in case there's any more. More likely to be on the left hand side of the road, but like I said, they could be just a bit. Oh, there's one there, you might have seen it bent over, having a bit of a feed. There's another one there on the left. I see another one. I'll slow down and see if we can get a bit of a shot, not a shot but a photo of it or a picture. Oh, there's another one. Bit hard to see sometimes. So the wallabies are shorter and black, and at night time they're almost camouflaged in the bush. Kangaroos are bigger, they're more a lighter grey colour, and they stand out more. The little wallabies, though they're only small, I remember one of my friends years ago hit one in his car, and the amount of damage it done was just unbelievable. They're very stocky little things, very muscly. There's a little wallaby just in front of me there. Hope you saw that one. Oh, he just ran in the bush. Missed him for you. Sorry about that. There's also emus down here. They come out a bit at night as well. You tend to see them more on dusk. But yeah, they are moving about. Drive itself is pretty boring along here for you guys, I guess, but if I can pick up any wildlife at all for you, I'll give you an idea of what we see at night. And quite often when we're doing late night fishing, depending on where we are, you get an idea of why we like to get home before it's too dark. Like an obstacle course sometimes. In the winter it's not quite so bad. Summertime is worse because most of the bush is fairly dry, and the kangaroos and wallabies and even wombats, they try to come out of the bush into the farmland to feed. That's where the water is for the stock, and the grass is usually a little bit better than in the scrub. In the winter there's more water about, so they don't have to move into the farmland quite as much, and there's more green pick out there for them as well. Expecting to maybe see some fox across the road up here. The paddock up here on the right is full of young lambs, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a fox or two about. There's another wallaby on the side. Sometimes those wallabies are very timid and they'll take off, and other times they'll just sit there and don't do nothing. I don't know which I prefer, because if they take off you know which way they're going, but when they're just sitting there you don't know if they're making up their mind to just jump on you or take off or what. Travelling at about 60 kilometres an hour because of the night time. I just don't want to hit one of these animals. Not only because it's the damage to the animal, but it's also damage to the vehicle. It's expensive to get repaired. And if you injure the animal, a lot of times they could be carrying young in their pouch. And it's not one death, it's two. It's not a nice thing. I see it as a survival thing for myself as well as the animal. Here, and this road heading back into Sale, which is about 20 k's, maybe into Sale, maybe 25 k's. It has kangaroos on it as well. This is a main road into a little coastal town called Golden Beach, sorry. Quite a nice little town. Once again, a holiday place and good place to do surf fishing if you're fit enough to climb down the cliffs. I was talking to the guy in the fish shop today. He said he'd done a bit of fishing off Golden Beach and it was good. Got a few sharks. Only small sharks, of course, gummies. Road is both sides of the road is pretty much farmland, so it's not as bad for the kangaroos and wallabies as the other road was because of the bush and scrubland, but they do still move about on this road, so hence you'll see occasionally road signs that'll say wombats or kangaroos. There's about 2 or 3 kilometres of farmland, and that's heading towards the east, and you hit the edges of Lake Wellington, which is the furthest west part of the Gippsland Lakes, and it's the western banks of Lake Wellington. So between the farmland and the banks there would be probably 500 metre strip of bushland, which is very marshy and boggy, and there's not much in there. You won't see much in the way of cattle, but there has been known to be hog deer along there. But it's almost almost impossible to reach. In fact, I believe it's partly owned by the water board, and if you're caught in there hunting or anything like that, it's yeah, it's quite an expensive penalty. So you can see this sign coming up. Oh, it was a bit blurry for you blokes, but it was a sign showing kangaroos on the road to be aware for them. Edge of the road you'll see a wombat or a kangaroo that's been hit by a car, and there's a group of people that they drive around with a can of red paint, spray paint, and when they see a dead animal on the side of the road, they go and check them out for any young that might be in the pouch to see if they're surviving, and they'll take the young and hand them into a refuge, and then they put a red cross, paint a red cross on the belly of the animal, which means that it's been checked for young, and the carcass is just left there, and then eventually a council truck will come and pick up the carcass if it isn't dragged off into the bush by not dingoes but foxes or something. Sometimes they just get left there, and the carrion come down, the occasional eagle will come down and pick the meat off a dead animal. Occasionally foxes will just pick them, crows. There's a little hog deer. Wow, that's a capture of a lifetime, that. Those little hog deer, they're only not much bigger than an Alsatian dog. Very rare to see them out here on the road. Interesting the amount of wildlife that's actually out and about in and around our area, and a lot of it you'll never actually see unless you're nighttime driving, because they do become nocturnal. They're harder to see at night, of course, so it keeps them protected. Some people think we tell them we see a deer or we see this and that and on the road, and sometimes people think we're crazy, but of course you do something like this with a video, you can show them, but most of the time they don't know it's there. And quite often you get people along this road in the summertime heading to the beach. They come up here and say, oh, it's a great place to camp and all that, and they're not aware of what could be on the roads. And they, like, I'm only doing just on 90 kilometres along here, only because I know the road, but some of these people, they'll do over the speed limit, and in fact in the summer months this road gets heavily patrolled by police. But you know, you need to be aware when you're in the country that there's all sorts of animals could be out on the road, and you just got to keep your wits about you. We're getting closer in towards Sale now, so you can see getting a bit more traffic about as well, so I might pull over and stop this bit of a video and concentrate a bit more on the traffic. Anyway, as I said, it was just a bit of a ride home, show you what we put up with sometimes. And you saw some animals that you probably haven't seen in your part of the world. Maybe if you're in Australia you have seen them, but overseas wouldn't have seen them, and gives you a bit of an idea of what's out there. So hope you enjoyed it, and put a likes in and any comments. I'm more than happy to take comments, good or bad. It helps me improve my videology or cinematography or whatever you like to call it, and makes me feel good, and a bit of criticism sometimes is handy. So anyway, thanks you guys for watching, and like and subscribe, and I'll catch you around. Thank you.